Hello, my name is Austin Habish, the founder of Think Catholic, and you're listening to the Summa podcast, where we study St. Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologiae in a way simple and insightful for anyone to understand. The Summa podcast is brought to you by Think Catholic. Taking 2 questions of the Summa a day, we'll seek to summarize St. Thomas's responses, discovering the brilliance of Aquinas and his Catholic faith. This is day 304. So let's get started. We're covering today questions 93 and 94 of the supplement to the Summa, that is, of the happiness of the saints and of their mansions, and of the relations of the saints towards the damned. The translation that I always use in these podcasts is the one generously provided to me by Ave Maria Press, the 5-volume set translated by the Fathers of the English Dominican province, which you can now get at a discounted price from Ave Maria Press's site by typing in the code SUMMA10. And so here we go. Article 1, whether the happiness of the saints will be greater after the judgment than before. It's best to quote some of Aquinas' words here, but also to ignore others, because we have to remember that this is the supplement of the Summa, which is from Aquinas' writings earlier in his life, commenting on Peter Lombard's sentences. And so he changes his mind a bit in the Summa Theologiae proper, which is a work at the very end of his life, when it comes to this question. To quote this article first, Aquinas writes, "But the unhappiness of the wicked after reunion with their bodies will be greater than before, since they will be punished not only in the soul but also in the body. Therefore the happiness of the saints will be greater after the resurrection of the body than before." But then in explaining what he means specifically by greater happiness after the resurrection, we should quote his words from back in the 2nd volume of the Summa, which again is a work that's later in his life, where he explains, "The desire of the separated soul is entirely at rest as regards the thing desired, since to wit it has that which suffices its appetite, but is not wholly at rest as regards the desirer, since it does not possess that good in every way that it would wish to possess it. Consequently, after the body has been resumed, happiness increases not in intensity, but in extent." So it is a happiness which is greater, we can say, and that after the resurrection, beatitude will overflow upon and include the body. Article 2, whether the degrees of beatitude should be called mansions. Jesus Christ taught us, as recorded in John chapter 14, "Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you?" This distinction in heaven corresponds to the distinction of merit in the saints, which results in this distinction of beatitude. For although in heaven all will see God as he is, one will see him more perfectly than another, because we will be able to see God via his supernatural assistance by his grace. It's called the light of glory, which admits of degrees. To quote Jesus Christ first on the relationship between merit and reward, this is from Matthew chapter 16. "For the Son of Man is going to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay each person according to what he has done." And then to quote the Council of Florence on the distinction of clarity in heaven, it's written, "And that the souls of those who after the reception of baptism have incurred no stain of sin at all, and also those who after the contraction of the stain of sin, whether in the bodies or when released from the same bodies, as we have said before, are purged, are immediately received into heaven, and see clearly the one and triune God himself just as he is, yet according to the diversity of merits, one more perfectly than another." And lastly, to quote St. Thomas from our present article, "Mansion implies the notion of end and consequently of reward, which is the end of merit." Article 3, whether the various mansions are distinguished according to the various degrees of charity. Our actions take their moral character primarily from their end, their goal, the beloved end for which they were done, and charity, which is the habitual supernatural love of God, which stems from faith, has for sure the correct end of man for its object, which is, as Aquinas described earlier in the Summa, there is a communication between man and God inasmuch as he communicates his happiness to us. The love which is based on this communication is charity. So the love which stems from the supernatural end which God has granted to us, which is also his very own end, knowing God as he is, this end known by faith is then loved via charity, and by having the correct supernatural end and by being divinized by grace, made sons in the one Son, one's actions stemming from this love, from this grace, are worthy then of supernatural reward. Therefore, to answer our article, because charity is what makes our works meritorious, then in different ways both charity and merit result in the degree of beatitude one will possess in heaven. As St. Thomas puts it here, the diversity of merit is all traced to the diversity of charity, and thus the charity of the way, meaning on the way to heaven, charity in this life, will distinguish the mansions by way of merit. We turn then to question 94 of the relations of the saints towards the damned. Article 1, whether the blessed in heaven will see the sufferings of the damned. St. Thomas answers here in the affirmative, and his answer is concise, quite profound, really. So to quote him, he writes, nothing should be denied the blessed that belongs to the perfection of their beatitude. Now everything is known, the more for being compared with its contrary, because when contraries are placed beside one another, they become more conspicuous. Wherefore, in order that the happiness of the saints may be more delightful to them, and that they may render more copious thanks to God for it, they are allowed to see perfectly the sufferings of the damned. Article 2, whether the blessed pity the unhappiness of the damned. The passions or emotions of the blessed, since they are perfectly subordinate to the will not be elicited without the will's consent, so not without choice. Therefore, looking at the damned, they could only feel pity, which is a kind of sorrow, if they chose to. However, first of all, there is no sorrow in heaven. As it is written in the book of Revelation, he will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away. Second of all, the blessed will see the just nature of the punishment of those in hell, as well as the impossibility of that punishment ending or ever being taken away. And so it would not be in accord with reason. It would not be reasonable for the saints to choose to feel pity. And our author's words here, charity is the principle of pity when it is possible for us out of charity to wish the cessation of a person's unhappiness. But the saints cannot desire this for the damned, since it would be contrary to divine justice. Article 3, our last article, whether the blessed rejoice in the punishment of the wicked, in which it's best to quote Aquinas, who has answered this article briefly. He says, a thing may be a matter of rejoicing in two ways. First, directly, when one rejoices in a thing as such, and thus the saints will not rejoice in the punishment of the wicked. Secondly, indirectly, by reason namely of something annexed to it, and in this way the saints will rejoice in the punishment of the wicked, by considering therein the order of divine justice and their own deliverance, which will fill them with joy. And thus the divine justice and their own deliverance will be the direct cause of the joy of the blessed, while the punishment of the damned will cause it indirectly. With that, we close another episode. We have just finished covering questions 93 and 94 of the supplement to the Summa, that is, of the happiness of the saints and of their mansions and of the relations of the saints towards the damned. My name is Austin Habish with Think Catholic. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow.